welcome back, guys, to another Chronicles of a Worthy Lifestyle. We have a very, very, very special guest. Somebody important to me, special to me, Mr. Bing himself.
No, I always hate doing introductions because at this point it's a lot.
Right, it is a lot.
It's a lot.
So you can keep it brief because we're gonna get dibble and dabble into your life.
All right. Well, I'm Brandon Bing. I am a entrepreneur, a former athlete, still present athlete, but former pro athlete. Rutgers graduate. Human, African American. Not to get too deep into those two words. I know people will go further into that. And what did I say? Performance consultant and a person of love.
I love that. So many different things in one person. So how did you start? Like, I know when I met you at the tender age of, I believe, 15 or 16, I knew you as a track star. Mm-hmm. So just tell them briefly, like, your journey, your career from track
as
to
far
football.
as track?
Yeah.
So, I believe in the very beginning of me running track, it wasn't for track. It was for football. So I ran track to stay in shape for football. So I believe I may have ran a little in the middle school, a little in high school, elementary, middle. But I didn't really run track, like, organized, taking it serious for, like, until, like, maybe, like, 10th, 11th grade. Because I didn't run my freshman year of high school at all. Like, funny story, no one knows but Keith, right? So basically, I play basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport, right? So I played basketball, but now I'm only 5'10". I was like 5'8", 5'9" in high school, so that was chalk. But basically, basketball is my favorite sport. That was what I was best at the time. So I was actually playing AAU basketball. Mm-hmm. So AAU in 9th grade, trying to figure out like how that's going to schedule with track. Because my mom like, you gotta play a sport every season. That's the rule in the house. So football, basketball, and I, ended up running track. So my mom said I had to play a sport in each season, so I chose but I had to pick. I chose track, but I had to pick basically because AU starts in like during track season. It goes into the summer. So I walk in. I think I go to the first day. Then I leave. I'm trying to figure out. You know what? I'm just gonna play basketball. Then I go back, and Dr. Bill was my track coach. He's like, we already started the season, so hopefully we'll see you next year. Basically told me no, like, go play basketball. You already missed the first 3 days, or first week basically. So I actually ended up playing basketball my freshman year. So when I came back, kind of was just trying to do it to stay in shape again. But by the time my junior year came, I really started to take it a little bit more serious. Because it wasn't even a joy of just running laps. People don't like track because of that. They just run it. Track is every other sport's punishment, right? So
so true.
So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna take it a little bit more serious because I actually enjoyed winning in the training aspect, not the training aspect of throwing up or being sore or any of that stuff, but more so the aspect of like, this is a challenge for me and I enjoy working for that win. Like, the end result was cool, but everything in between that people didn't get to see, as much attention as I may get, like, I never was a big fan of it. As much as my astrology says, because I'm Leo, as much as football says, because you're supposed to be arrogant and all that type of stuff, but I really wasn't a person of attention that seeked it. It just kind of happened for me in things that I did or things that I wore or whatever the case was. So I wasn't really in it for that, but I love to win and knowing what I did behind the scenes to get to that win. So yeah. Took it serious, so I remember just kind of like not taking Christmas off, because during that time I usually take that time off. And Dr. Bill, I asked him like, I really want to win, like, because I was top 10 in the state, right? Which may seem okay to everyone else that may be listening or to you, but I was like top 10 in this state, PA,
right?
Which is wild because Cali and Texas and Miami and all in Florida. All these places are known for speed. So if I'm not top in my state, then what am I right now? To me, this is me talking to me. So I told him I wanted to be serious. He said, okay. So we basically started just going in, and I had to really 100% trust my coach and what he was providing to me, who, what was knowledge that I didn't even understand at that point in time. He's a Hall of Fame coach to this, like right now. He's still coaching. Typically got passed away or,
right.
you know, retire to be in the Hall of Fame. So he's in the Hall of Fame. But anyway, so I'm in there going, he would open up the gym. It's probably illegal to do that. He wasn't supposed to, against the rules. He would open up the gym during Christmas break. So everybody's home, and I would just be up in the gym inside of Shout. You've been to Shout basketball course. So he'd just open up, we would run on an angle. And I would be at practice competing against myself, like literally. Like we had two groups. It would be me and somebody, like Keith with somebody, and it was everybody else. And I would just go, and in my head I was like, I'm not losing to anybody. Like that was just my motivation at the time. So, and I wanted to prove my mother right, cause she always like talking crazy, like to everybody. Probably everybody knows me because really probably cause my mom, for real. So I really just wanted to prove her right and make the statements and the things she was saying right and correct. So I really was working, and then I came back basically my senior year and was just like shattering every record that was in front of me, and I didn't know though. So now you would know early, 9th grade, this guy coming up, blah, blah. I didn't look at Penn Track, which is a site you could look at for your stats at the time, mile split. I didn't look at any of that. I just ran. I didn't know it was good. Like I didn't know I had the #1 time in the state or country. I knew none of that. I just ran. I did it for what I said I did it for.
Right.
And then so really my last 2 years I'm taking it serious. I won the state championship. National championship is, I go to the national championship. And it's another story behind that. We can discuss it if we got time, but it's another story. But yeah, so I ended up taking that super serious, and football didn't pan out exactly how I wanted it to. So I basically took the route of like, all right, I'm gonna get the attention that I had from football my junior year, come back and run track, get a scholarship, and go ahead and walk into the football team. So got the attention back from almost every team that recruited me my junior year, because my senior didn't go as well football-wise. But it did track-wise. So we remember you from football. So I was back on the radar. So I figured my idea was to get in for track and play football, since you wasn't bringing me in for football yet.
Right.
So yeah, ended up being, I believe, an All-American in track and field, and getting a scholarship, going on official visits to like Clemson and Pittsburgh and these different schools, and ended up running my last race basically, except for recently, but running my last race at nationals, because by the time I got to college, he was like, no, we just want you for football, which was my goal. But then I kind of grew to like and love football, track and football, like the same. So it was like, damn, this is my goal, but damn, I kind of like I left something in track and field. I probably won a national championship, like so I ran so I said, cool, I'm just gonna try to break the record for the 40 at Rutgers, and I broke the record. So I couldn't do it in track, but I figured I'd try to do it in another way, again, my own personal goal. So yeah, to sum that all up, ran track and field, came back after football, ran it again, and failed. I tried to run in the Olympics and just missed the time. Yeah, a lot of people don't know a lot of stuff we're going to talk about.
I know.
You know what I mean? But I came back to run after I was done playing football. So basically I took 4 years plus the 2 years in the NFL. I took 6 to 7 years off of track. Tried to come back, and that's not like the sport you can do that in. Even with the talent and the speed, you can't take that time, because people are literally running every day. So very humbling. So I said I failed and I lost, because that's me talking to me again. It's not really approval from anyone. It's me competing with me. So I'm like, damn, I failed, but so what? I failed in a lot of stuff, you know what I mean, that people don't really see or understand. So, so yeah, I finished up in track probably about 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago. My last race, I beat my personal time, which was another personal goal, but I was trying to like make the Olympic team. My goal was to win the Super Bowl and go to the Olympics, but I failed. So I was like, damn, all right, I'm gonna try something else, So that's really the story of the track.
How did you overcome that failure? Because for so many, it's like that failure would have broken them. Like it's instead you said, let me try something else.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think is within you that kind of made you do that?
The motivation to not just win, but to be at peace, have peace of mind with myself. Like knowing I did everything I possibly could to be the best that I could in whatever I'm doing. So that's probably why now I do so much, because I'm like, all right, if I'm going to if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be the best at it. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try to be the best at it. Like, in my opinion, for me, you know. So I got over it by basically being able to like accept the fact that it was an attempt. So people shoot high. I shoot as high as I possibly can, and then I land under it if I don't, you know, like if I don't get that goal, if I don't get that prize, if I don't get that possession, whatever it is, I probably hit right under it because like my motivation is myself. So, so yeah, overcoming failure, I just know that I at least attempted to do it.
Right, and that's
the best
a success.
of my ability.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it didn't work, then
right, and that's a success in itself. I feel like having that mindset and looking at it.
Yeah, I typically learn a lot from it. You know, I take my moment at that time and go through it like, fuck it, oh shit, gotta do shit. Then I get back to something else.
Right.
Or back to whatever that is to come back and do better. So, that's all it is.
Right. So, one of the things I've noticed is your brand Stay Cool. I know you started that as a child
Yes.
with your friends. I just want to talk a little bit about those support, your friends and your family, and how they played a role or may not have played a role, because like you said, it may have been the perception. I am watching from the gram a lot of the time nowadays.
The only reason why I say that is because of other things.
Right.
Not
right.
that.
Right.
You are actually correct in that sense. Like my mother and my friends and family, which my friends are my family now, like they play an important role because of like really belief and trust and understanding, but also not just allowing any of us allowing each other to just kind of slack off and just be on some bullshit. Like honestly, like we push each other, but at the same time, it's competition sometimes it's not. It's support for the most part, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where you have people around you, and if they believe in you, like your parents would, or your parents would not, that those two things matter. Like if your parents believe it or not. So not that they're my parents, and some of my friends are my parents, my mother, but it's the support from the people that love you and that you love really kind of pushes you to a different level. So my sisters, my grandmother, my mother, and definitely my close friends, Stay Cool, like, and a few other people as well, but that's my support system, and they played a huge role. My mother has never missed a game, like in my life.
Wow.
Like from
Amazing.
the Aztecs to the Gators to Ivy Hill to Abington Raiders to Cheltenham to Rutgers to the Giants. She's never missed it. Broncos. She's never missed a game. She's either been fly out there or she's driving there because she had her own business as well. So she was able to do what she does.
Right.
So that was important. Like I literally used to walk out. She tells me this. I didn't notice I was doing it. I didn't notice that she would see me doing it. But I would walk out, middle of Dallas Stadium, Cowboy Stadium, and I'd be looking throughout the crowd for my mom. And it's not like a specific place where they could be.
Yeah.
And I would just see her at the top because away games. They don't care about us. She'd be at the top waving. I was like, all right. She never missed a game. So that says that's huge to me. That's really a belief because she never said even the percentage of making it to the NFL is like 1%, less than 1%.
Right.
That's like birth control. Like you know what I'm saying? So people you believe it like that's a very low percent. So like so it's like when you have somebody tell you and show you that they believe in you, and say things like that. Or not say things like, what else, what you gonna do if you don't make it to the NFL? My mom has never said that in her life. Like, I've never heard her say that. Mm-hmm. She said, what else do you like to do? Like, what else would you like to do? To really just raise the thought.
Right.
Because I now get to think about other things I like. I've been drawing my whole life. You know what I mean? I've been into fashion, music, and art my whole life. Like, behind the scenes. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I've always been into it. So it made me think about that. And me being my own boss based on things that she did. She was able to go to every game because she was her own boss. So I'm like, just knowing that she believes, and it's things that she said to me that, held a high standard. So I held that high standard for myself, for my friends as well, and they hold it for themselves, and I hold it for them. So it's like a collective push, for all of us to be great.
Right.
So support is super, super important.
Super important. Now, I know from knowing you at a young age, you lost your father.
Yes.
How did that impact you or even motivate you? Because I do see, from my perception, that it motivates you a lot. How did that impact you throughout your life?
Well, my father passed when I was 2. So me not knowing my father at all plays a huge and major role. Even up until last night. Like the picture I posted is because I was looking for another picture for whatever reason, and I ran across that. And every time I see a picture of my father, I just think about a bunch of different things. Like last night was like, I would have been a different person, probably, right? Different decisions would have been made.
Right.
I would have made, I may not have made certain mistakes. I may have done things better. I may have done things worse. Who knows? Like, I don't know. I would have been a different person, maybe a different state, maybe in a different city. Like, I don't know. So, but when I see a picture, I think of that. Who took that picture? When was it? What happened that day? Who did he speak to? Like, I don't know anybody really who knows my father. So, all those mysteries behind my father. With all that being said, I just heard so much about him that it was all like great things. And I know typically when you talk about people, you say the positive, the pros and cons, and the negatives. But I've never heard anything negative about my father that, from the people that I know, right? So you got to think, my father probably my mom, I have that perspective, then I have his mom, my grandma's perspective. I have my aunts and uncles. But there was probably a girl he used to talk to, or a cousin, or a friend that I don't know that he has a relationship with that I don't know nothing about. So who knows what they shared as far as dialogue and all that type of stuff. So anyway, I always look at pictures and see him, and I just be like, damn, I don't know what it would have been, but I just look at pictures, like I know that he was thorough.
Right.
And, the motivation is really just kind of living to where I have that same impact on people. At my pace, though, my way. Because even though I look just like him, even though I look just like him, like, I'm probably different in certain ways, unless you ask my mother. She'll tell you the complete opposite. She says I'm exactly like him. I talk exactly like him. I walk exactly like him. So that's why I think all the time, like, I've never met nobody like me. So how could you say, how could you say these things?
Genetics are strong.
It has to be. It has to be, because I don't even know. I was 2.
Right. No, but seriously.
So, so the motivation from my father is just really for me to be the best version of myself, have an impact on people, and just try to, be the best version of myself, be the best human, be the best son, be the best boyfriend, whatever the case, whatever my title becomes throughout, my time here and the people I'm involved with. I want them to have like positive things to say about me, but not force it. You know what I mean? People try to do that. I'm like, just trying to be myself, and if that's the energy that I give off, hopefully that's what it is, and that's how you feel when I'm not here, and when I'm not here physically. But yeah, you're talking to somebody else, and my name comes up. You know what I mean? So,
right. Exactly.
So that's all that is. But
it's amazing.
High motivation for sure.
It's amazing. Now let's step into the perception
Yeah.
aspect of this. So from the perception, me looking on the gram or other people looking on the gram, it looks like you have it all, Brandon Bing.
Instagram.
You were an NFL player.
Yeah.
Now you have your own business working with NFL players.
Yeah.
But I really want to talk about the trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
What has Brandon Bing going through? It can't be as good as it looks. Is it?
It looked that good?
It looks real good on occasion. Listen.
That's my fault, honestly.
He got brands. He got what is a bottle?
We talk about that.
Yeah, it's
it's a lot that goes on in the day to day, like for everybody. I feel like everybody goes through something, but everybody reacts and kind of make decisions differently. So, I think that for me, what I've gone through outside of my father, that's like obvious, right?
Right.
I'm already supposed to be a statistic. I guess we can downplay that already, right? But the perception of what I show, which is just pictures. I don't know, pictures and videos that are nice. I just post them, but it's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. So, I mean, where do we start? Honestly, we just pick a time period. We can go through whatever you however you feel. Like,
I
you
want to
talk
say
about heartbreak. You want to talk.
Let's talk about your
that?
hardest,
You wanna
your
talk about
hardest, the hardest thing that you've gone through. Let's go through that. The hardest thing that you went through and how you overcame that.
The hardest thing that I've been
to this day.
Well, to be honest, post football.
Okay.
There's a lot of things. I'll be honest, but I think the thing that popped up immediately as soon as you finished your sentence was post football, because it's a perception that, one, you have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Two, that everything's good and everybody fuck with you. Like, that's not the case all the time. Three, there's like a thing that you've been doing your whole life that has just stopped. So imagine anybody doing anything, doing something for a large majority of time in their lives, and it just stopped. You know what I mean? So I think people kind of take that lightly, but also the perception of the athlete in college, the athlete in the NFL, and the athlete post NFL, right? The perceptions are different. Everyone has a different perception, but most of the time, it's a perception of positivity and of high value, of high standard, high this, high that. You're going to run into this person, this is given to you. And I think that's like, post-football was tough for me because I've been playing since I was 7, right? So then, you're done at 20, for me, 23, 24 around that time. And just like everything my mom would say before, she'd be like, what's next? And if she didn't say, what else did you like to do when I was in high school, I wouldn't have had that thought. I would have been lost. If I didn't have that support from my mother, not everybody else. Because think, the perception is you got money. So if I started GoFundMe, they might give me no money, think I got it already, right? Or they think something's given. Me starting my business, for example, right? I started my business, this is post-football, so we still in the same topic. I started my business, Pro being Elite Fitness and Performance, which is pro, professional, being my last name. Fitness and performance, because I wanted to be in different lanes as far as that field. And then, as far as elite goes, I wanted high level, just like I talk about everything, I want high level everything. So the perception behind that sometimes is he already had money, he already knew the NFL guys, so he should be straight. It's perception of you that you're not supposed to care about, because most people say they don't, right?
Right.
They don't care about perception. Kid Cudi probably said that shit the best. He said, I never gave a fuck. I mean, I did, but like, fuck it. Like, it was in one of his songs. And you don't, but like, you do still, because you're still human. And I was being put on this like pedestal sometimes. I had this negative thought about me, this positive thought, whatever it was, I was letting what I thought people were thinking get to me.
Right.
So I just wouldn't say anything.
So
I would still do what I wanted to do, but I wouldn't. Like, this would never happen 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Because what you think of me, cool, that's what you think. It is what it is. That's what's allowed me to be, do what I do at a high level. I literally don't care about what people, say at the end of the day. It's going to hit sometimes. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it don't stick. It don't stick. Yeah, it don't stick. You know what I mean? So, post-football is very tough, which is why my mom is starting a business now called SOS, Sorting Out Sports. She's an official life coach. Because of that, she's helped me through what I had to go through, and then help other players in college and NFL level get through what they had to go through at that time. And she realized it was a trend with almost damn near, if someone's watching that play football, they'll be able to like understand what I'm saying. Because you're completely separate from everybody in football. You don't know 90% of the school because you're in study hall when they're in class. When you're in class, they're asleep. When they're asleep, you up working out. Like, so anyway, you put into that lifestyle. It's very structured. It's very, this is how you're supposed to be. Talk like this, walk like this, and you just do it because the NFL is what you want to do, and you've been trying to get there your whole life. So post football is tough, and that's probably the toughest thing for me to go through. I didn't go into detail probably what I went through, but I think it was, to me, it was depression, which is why I was traveling so much, which I was. That's really it. That's all I was doing. Like,
you was traveling.
Yeah, I was traveling. I was really traveling. That's how I got through it.
Did that getting away? How did that make you feel?
Traveling?
Like, was it because you could get away and you weren't here and you weren't?
I think that was my way of getting away. Because
right.
At that point in time, I mean, I wasn't like I maybe drank 4 times in college, so I wasn't a drinker.
Right.
I didn't smoke, so it was like my getting away wasn't like, oh, I'm a fall to this. It was just more so me figuring out what I when my mom said, what else do I like to do? I remember going traveling. That was one of the funnest times I had. So traveling, I got back to that. Drawing when I was young, I got back to that. Being around people, talking to people, being at events, not clubs, but more so events, and being around like energy and people doing things that I love, whether it's fashion or music. Football wasn't discussed a lot because you don't have football discussion with people who play.
Right.
Otherwise, you're not going to understand.
Right.
So I don't talk about it much. So yeah, traveling. Even if I came back with like 100, like that's the perception of traveling equals money. No, like I was getting away with myself and finding myself at the same time by traveling. And people don't know nothing about football. They don't care about football outside of the U.S. They just was like, look, you black dude, dreads, you cool, you got good energy. Even though my friend thinks that you're this because of this is what they show on TV. So that's what really hit. That really hit for me. Like, damn, this is what people think of us. I gotta like be myself because I'm falling into what they saying.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I would travel, fun as hell. Would kind of be away from everything, meet new people, learn new things. Motherfuckers was speaking different languages, eating different foods, and I was just experiencing different fashion and different music, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed learning outside of Cheltenham, outside of Abington, outside of Philly. Like outside of that, what else is out there? And it's a lot, and I just kept learning. I was like a student of life at that point, like just bringing everything in. It changed my life. So I had that outlet, and I had that support from my mom, you know. Because I ended up going back home, you know what I'm saying? I went back home after all that. So I went back home and she had the support. She, oh, you start a business? All right, we're going to do this. Oh, and you going to travel? Okay, do your thing. Because I felt like she knew in a way that something wasn't 100% right. So she just supported everything. If I didn't have that support for me starting this business, I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't be able to kind of like push my business where it is now. So support played a huge role. Right. Me finding something else to be active played a huge role. So I draw a lot. I write every single day. Every single day. I was writing on the way here. Like I write every day. And just being around the right energy and people that that believe in, one that's gonna tell you when you're on some nut shit. Like, yo, that was some nut shit. Like, you gotta do better than that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna let me know that too. But also, you know, they gonna be front row at whatever I got going on.
Right.
So that's important. That support is important. Finding something that you love and you're active around, and the energy that you bring and people you're around is important. So that was something I went through that was tough, but also how I got through it.
Right. So now let's bring it to like right now. I want you to just tell them a little bit briefly about what probing is. You're performance consultant.
Yes.
What that means, and how they can get in contact with you if they want any of your services.
So Probing Elite Fitness and Performance started in 2000 I was done in 2013-ish football wise. So it probably started around that time. I was doing it when I was still like having workouts. And that started because I was going around the schools and speaking at schools, like anti-bullying programs and life skill programs.
Go ahead.
Basically around the time we started, you know, Stay Cool was started by myself and others. We had free boot camps on Saturdays.
Right.
Did a free boot camps on Saturdays, and then like people started to ask me, could they train throughout the day? Rashai had like a full-time job. Keith was doing his thing. Everybody who was like a part of starting it had like either jobs or they were in college, whatever the case was. I'm the only one that's unemployed. So I'm like, all right. And then when they came, they giving me money. But it was per session, which I would never do. But like, they started giving me money. I was like, oh, maybe I should start a business. So I went in, I would start drawing shit up. I'm starting the business with no LLC, no trademark, nothing. No logo, no name, and nothing. So I would go 6 months with the business with no structure, zero structure. I'd go to the gym, I train off of stuff that I know, and you know, we go about our business, right? And I just kept adding to it. I realized I was around people. I became people's therapist. I was helping them change their lives. Someone was getting pregnant right after. Someone was coming right after pregnancy. Someone was coming to go on a trip. Someone was going for the Army. Someone was coming to be better at football. Like, it was so many different reasons, so many different ways I could help people. My mom's a nurse. My grandma's a nurse. My aunt's a nurse. I'm coming from a family of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That energy. So I'm just like, damn, I'm helping people, and I'm starting to get the feel of the same feeling I got when I played football. Like I was helping people.
Right.
Like,
Make you
damn.
feel good.
So it was a good feeling. Like I give compliments all the time. Like that's one of my things. I give it all the time. So I'm just like, I always felt good doing that. So this was like kind of another way. So I went in and started the business. I wanted a name. I drew my own logo. I reached out to do the LLC and the trademark and the paperwork and the insurance, like everything. And I just, again, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So now, 4 or 5 years later, I've trained hundreds of people.
Right.
I have partnerships with, a bunch of different companies. I train 99-year-olds down to like 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. So huge gap there. I have adaptive training to boot camps, to NFL combine training, to women who want to lose weight. I had my first client was 97 pounds. You know what I mean? So again, I'm just getting challenged over and over, but I'm helping people.
Right.
And to me, because I'm doing that, I'm gonna be the best at this too. And that's what I'm in track to doing. The reason why I'm not a trainer, but I'm a performance consultant, because one, performance consultant is a lot better to me. The word looks better. It sounds better. And also, when you think of trainer, you just have this perception. I'm much more complex than a trainer, so I don't like to label myself as a trainer. But also, I mean, respect-wise, like, trainer, I was about to say, I ain't gonna mention other training, other facilities. But you're talking about, like, Planet Fitness. You think of a Planet Fitness trainer. No shot at Planet Fitness. That's the first thing that came to mind. Because, actually, shout out to them, because I started there. Right. They're so cheap, and I was going there training people, whatever. So, but no, I would never take pictures there. It was purple and yellow. It's the lowest of the totem pole as far as people in there. I was running too fast. Somebody complained about me running too fast in there. Like, there's so much that goes on in there. I'm just like, nah, you don't want to be associated with that. And I think trainer equals that. Like, training equals a perception, just like football equals perception.
Right.
I didn't want that again. So I do so many different things. I felt like performance consultant match perfectly. Because whatever you're trying to perform at a certain level, and I'm here to consult you and help you. So that's why I created that. Yeah, so now I have partnerships. I train deaf, old people who are more seasoned. We call them seasoned people. And I train kids who never played football before, who are 5 and 6 years old. And then I have in the middle is like my NFL guys and other athletes who are in college and all that type of stuff. So now, I'm just trying to take this to a level where I ain't going to really discuss, high level. I ain't going to discuss because it's in the plane. But I definitely have a bigger picture for what I'm doing now.
That's amazing. Now, to talk about the brands, because I know you bought me a bottle. Talk about the brands that you have some partnerships with, and just tell my people a little bit how you went about that process, like if they were looking to get into
Well, on the table
like
is
that.
Martell. All right, this is Blue Swift, right? So basically how that came about, Martell is a brand that is under Pernod Ricard. Pernod Ricard has like Avion and whatever other alcohol. There's a bunch of different ones I ain't gonna discuss, but for right now, Martell is the one that I'm involved with as Martell, as an ambassador for Philadelphia and New Jersey.
Okay.
So basically, they're under Fader. You know the Fader magazine, and brand and Cornerstone Agency. Okay. So basically, long story, I guess time-wise to bring it down, is I had a conversation with somebody I knew basically, and they consider myself an influencer. They consider me an influencer. I didn't really consider myself an influencer for a bunch of different reasons. Like, one being the amount of time people spent on social media when they're influencers. I didn't think that I spent enough time on social media. I was like, I don't spend enough time. Two, I'm not really sharing who I am. Like, I'm not all I'm sharing is low key. I was just sharing stuff that was going on, and it just happened to be accomplishments all the time. I wasn't really sharing as much as I have recently, but like some failures that I've had and stuff like that. I was just sharing some pictures I thought was fire. I'm an artist at the end of the day, so like, how photos may have came out or what I was wearing or who I was around, like that was just part of what I was, what I was into, whatever. So they just liked how the vibe, like, we're gonna say vibe, but I feel like we say it too much. They just like the aesthetics of my page, honestly. Right. And they were like, look, all we just looking for if you can add like some type of like lifestyle to your your brand here, because we see they wrote it on the board. I walked in. They said we have fitness on your page. We have you around some people, so that's more so lifestyle. We have you traveling. You doing community work, entrepreneurship. Just add a little bit more lifestyle. And if you do that, I'm at an opportunity for you. I was like, all right, just like anybody else.
Right.
To me, not that I don't trust them or anything like that, but somebody says I have an opportunity, it's just talk to me until it happens. 8 months later, I get a phone call, basically an interview on the phone with somebody from the Fader. And I told them straight up, like, if y'all want me to, like, be at clubs and parties, I don't do that. So low-key, I was about to turn down some money and an opportunity for me finally getting to be myself, but felt like I was about to fall into another trap of being somebody else. I was like, I don't really go to clubs like that. So if y'all want to hire me, honestly, it's going to be like me just doing what I do normally on an everyday basis. Like, and how is it going to fit into training? It's not. It's going to fit into me, my personal brand, as a human being and as a grown man, into a experience company. No, I don't drink that much. You know, I'm more of a social drinker. But at the end of the day, it was more of a celebratory reason. Like, you can celebrate, or when we have events that go on. Events do go on. Right. People are human. People do make mistakes. People do drink. People do curse. People do talk about sex. All this stuff. And I need people to stop acting like that's not happening.
Right.
Like, make it, that's your personal business. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you have to make everything public. Those type of personal things public. But understand that people are human and they do shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway. So that was my argument, again, with myself. Because so I'm sitting there like, dog, you grown. Like, you know what I mean? As long as you're not here, yo, drink, and like, you good. So basically, I was asked to represent a brand that stood for being unapologetic. Okay. So I'm like, unapologetic. I like that. Being yourself. So this fits in perfectly for me being uncomfortable now. Get outside of your comfort zone of being where everybody thinks you are and hop over that barrier of comfortability. And every time I do that, something great comes. So this is another opportunity to step outside of you're a trainer, so you do this, you play football, so you do this, and hop onto a lifestyle part. Make a complete 180 into a whole nother direction. Like, no one's going to really expect it, and I think I transitioned pretty well into it because it's still me being myself, and it's just more so of a representation bigger than the spirit. It's more so of you hear people say lifestyle all the time, but it's more so of an energy and understanding and a misunderstanding all in one. Like, I'm representing being myself and unapologetic. So that meshed well to me. So but how I approached it outside of them finding me, everything else was DM.
Okay. So that's how you
I reached out to
I think you had And Pizza ones, right?
I had And Listen, I can go down the list, but this is what I did. I'm gonna tell you what I did. And it's very easy, it's not hard. I literally DM'd over 200 companies. Anything I was involved in, whether it was sports or lifestyle, art, whatever, right? I reach out to them via DM. Or I just reach out, period. Like, I say, like, hey, it's the first thing I would say.
Yeah.
And then they would say, hey, how are you? Would you like to, whatever they would say, whatever the response is. And then I would send them basically what I already had in my notes, but for that company, though.
Right.
Like, hey, my name is such and such, I do this is what I represent, I'm a fan of your brand, because all the ones I reached out to, most of them I was a fan of or could probably do business with. And either I got a no, cool, I got an email address,
okay,
I got a direct, like, straight up, like, we'll send you product,
right,
or, yo, let's work through something more than this. And the Container Store was one we did more with. This brand was one that they reached out, but it was kind of like a mutual. Something happened before that, which led me to being in their office and having those meetings. I mean, you said And Pizza, that was one. Sixers. I mean, I've did things with brands, and then when they got to talk to me, because the emails would sometimes lead to interviews. That's when I got them.
Right.
So whether it was like product or them paying me for a post or whatever the case was, it was them getting from, oh, we like your pictures and all that, and the following that you have now, I guess that means something, right? To like, oh, we actually fuck with you, like who you are. So let's do something. Even if it's us just sending you product. Again, perception. People might think that comes from football. Like, it doesn't. I actually meet these people and have these meetings, and sometimes they send stuff, sometimes they don't. Now, don't get me wrong. My DMs are not filled with women. It's actually filled with brands. Reaching out to brands because it's like roll the dice. All in or nothing. All in or all out.
Mm.
So that's how I got a lot of the brands now. So cat's out the bag.
That's amazing.
Cat's out the bag. So now everybody can go ahead and copy that. Like copy everything else I do anyway. So they might as well do the same thing. It may work, it may not, but roll the dice. Why not? I had no fear at that point.
Right. Real quick, just let them your Instagram, and if you have like an email that they can reach out to.
My Instagram is at Brandon Bing.
Okay.
And at Pro Bing Elite. My website is brandonbing.com. Email is info@brandonbing.com.
I like how you made it simple for them.
Yeah. And because I got it early, I bought it all early. And then info@probingelite.com for Pro Bing Elite. Then I have my foundation, brandonbingfoundation.com.
Yes.
That's why we gotta have a part 2. It's fine.
Yes.
It's so much more to talk about.
They
have to have a part 2.
I love it.
We gotta have a part 2 now.
And make sure that you guys hit him up. He's one of the nicest, most humble people in the world. I'm sure.
Sometimes.
I mean,
You
we might have to talk about that next
you can't
time.
be humble all the time.
No, you're one of the most humble people I know. I've never not seen you humble.
That's crazy. The perception is not that.
I know. I can imagine from other people that don't know you, but you are.
Yeah, but it's a level of confidence you gotta have too. But again, we'll have part 2. I ain't gonna take all your time.
Right. I mean, it is a level of confidence. But
you gotta have.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be cocky sometimes. It's gonna be arrogant sometimes.
But I hate when people
perception-wise.
Right, perception-wise. I hate when people associate confidence with cocky.
Yeah,
because I think that's really taken away from our self-love.
Are you supposed to not fuck with yourself? You
right.
tell me to be confident, and then when I be confident, you say, hey, turn that shit down.
Right.
I'm getting a little uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Nah, fuck that.
I hate that.
Yeah,
All right, well, make sure that you guys look out for part 2.
Yeah.
Hit up Brandon Bing.